Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. It's not often I do a replay that features on both of our channels, the General and this one, but this is a replay which I'm definitely going to feature. We're looking at the E25, the Tier 7 German premium tank destroyer. This one is located on the northeast corner of highway, and it's under the command of Bosoron. Now, he's actually taking the E25 out to one of the positions just up on the hill where he can spot out over the field. Now he's got a 75mm gun capable of doing 135 alpha, penetrating 150mm with standard ammunition, and he has got some standard ammo, and with the premium APCR he can do 194mm. First shot misses the Type 64, second one I think got close, but he's not going to shoot anymore because that would be a waste of ammunition. Okay, he's using the spotters out in the field. He's got an AMX ELC to the south of him, and just to the west is a VK2801-105, just in case the enemy decides to go to the northwest corner of the map. They sometimes do that in this game. He's landed in a Tier 7 game with Tier 5 tanks in it, and oh, he's found another light tank, and it's the same Type 64. He's come back, and now he's trying to get at that AMX ELC, and he's taking numerous rounds. And he's gone. Oh, and the Cromwell's turned up this time. They've obviously after that AMX ELC, and the armour of these tanks just can't stand this gun. More than a pen. And the alpha's very good as well. That was a low roll, that last one, but there again, it was all the hit points he had remaining. Well, the E25 was part of the NVIDIA series, 6 designs, which actually were not to build superior tanks. They're actually designed to build cheaper tanks. Spots the Hellcat in the distance, 2 good shots, and he's into the dip, so we can't get any more. Yeah, they weren't specifically to design better tanks. They were actually cheaper to design tanks. They're easier to design by using a specified and set design that actually worked. You can see the sides of the E25 that actually uses the same Shakhtar LOWIQ interlocking wheel design that you see on tanks like the Tiger and the like. And it's basically almost like a souped up Hetzer, much faster. Now top speed of this little beast is 65 kilometers an hour, and it got the nickname the Cockroach with good reason. They're not only very difficult to spot, they're so fast they're very difficult to pin down and do damage to. Also, they've got an absolutely wicked aim time, and the fire rate as well is pretty crucial. 2.88 seconds per shell. That's the book reload, but most people actually have a much faster reload than that. I suspect the reload of this one is about 2 seconds. We're using a Virgin client at the moment, so we don't actually have the full details. I suspect the Bosoron does have quite a lot of experience. Now this vehicle does actually turn fairly quickly as well. In fact, sometimes it can turn too quickly. The track verse is 45 degrees a second, and so that means you can spin it to try and hit the target, overcorrect and actually go past the target and have to move it back to try and get it on target again. Okay, he's knocking down a bit of scenery. We're not doing so well in the town, unfortunately. We're 2 down on the enemy, but we won't let that discourage us for the moment. He's popping up here, the normal tank destroyer position. It's a T-34 shielded in residence. Probably doesn't have the experience to go into town and deal with the others. Now, being top tier means there's a lot of pressure on Bosoron to win this game for his team. He has got probably one of the best tanks in the game. Steel Waffenträger takes 1 shot. Got an M2Y comes into view. Lots of tanks down there. He can't spot them. Oh, he just killed the M2Y with a blind shot. There was a lot of tanks down there, but they popped back into cover after he started firing. But the M2Y was just too slow, and he got taken out. Now he's going to take a risk and cross the bridge. We're now down by 5 tanks. And so I think Bosoron's decided that he needs to go defensive. It's the only way he's going to be able to take on so many tanks at the same time. If they're all approaching him and are overwhelming him, he needs to get to a position where he can use the rapid fire rate and accuracy of this 75mm gun to take out the enemy. He spotted a KV-13, but look at this, there's a Wolverine coming in from the north, or from the west I should say. Can you get behind that bush? Oh no, there's a Super Hellcat there as well. Well, he goes for the Super Hellcat first, and 2 shots, he's out the game. That must have been the Super Hellcat. He fired that earlier in the game. He got 2 shells into his rear. He's locked onto the Wolverine. Okay, that's better. Auto aiming can actually help you stop you from over traversing and get you onto target quicker. And now we've got that KV-13 coming up, and I think he's decided against going at him directly at close range. He's decided to pull away, and that was the enemy Arty trying to have a go at him. The KV-13 is chasing him, but I think the KV-13 may have made a mistake here. He did fire 1 round into us. It was an 85mm, but he got a low roll, and that's 2 rounds into the KV-13. One of them was a high roll, the other one was a low. He did actually get a couple of shots in just prior to that. And the enemy's now coming out of the town. There's a 4 tank advantage to the enemy. And I think from this position here, with the bushes in his favour, he can use the bush mechanic to try and redress the situation. That's 1 shot, 2, he might need 2 more. That's 1 of them. And there's the kill shot. KV-13's out the game. It's now 2 tanks versus 7 enemy tanks. And he's now desperately trying to defend himself. Sees the KV-1 coming, but he can't see the hull of the tank. I think it's just too much in the way. Now he can see him. Pumps 1 round in, can't get another one because the building, even though it's a destructible building, it's probably not wise to try and take the shot. And now he's all alone against 7 enemy tanks. So this is Kolobanov territory. He's already got a top gun. Locks 1 onto the Hellcat. Rams him! Oh my god, he got a ram kill, but he lost 86 hit points doing it, and the enemy Arty tried to nail him as well. Both of them tried. The enemy team's got an SU-122A and a Fifi. And you know the Fifi can fire once every 10 seconds or so, slightly less than that. So he had to move out of that area quickly, or he would be killed. Now I suspect that the tanks near the cap area are the KV-1 and the Shure Waffenträger, and he takes care of the IKV, but he did take a 90mm round from him. Oh, and the Arty's still trying to nail him, so he's weaving away like mad, trying to throw them off. And now we've got a Paulak tank turned up, but he's a 1-shot, so he can get this guy. He's already got his Radleys. Can he get a pulse? No, first shot failed. Carefully. That's it, got him. And he took a round in the track, but I don't think he'll be worried about that. The enemy's capping. This KV-1, and now he's a 1-shot. Oh, dodged another shell there. Pulls back to try and pick and choose where he's going to engage this guy from. He can easily get him now. You see that aim time is really, really good. So quick to dial in on a target. Okay, well, we know the tank that's capping. It's the Shure Waffenträger. There he is. And yes, he gets 1 in, but the guy gets behind the water tower, which is a solid object. He won't be able to fire through that. But he has been reset. And there's the Arty coming in again. There's only 3 left on the enemy team. He's managed to whittle them down. He's got his Pulse Medal. Got the Pulse Medal when he killed the KV-1. But he's still got 3 enemies to wipe out. I guess the easiest one to wipe out is going to be the Steer in theory, because the steel Waffenträger's only got a few hit points left, but he's got to find him because he's popped out of the cap. And that steel Waffenträger, yes, he's got an 88mm gun. But I don't think that's, you know, he could take 2 shots from that steer before he died, or at least the second shot would probably kill him. So he's decided to use the concealment to try and spot where that steel Waffenträger's gone. He can't be too far away. He's not a particularly fast tank destroyer, but the E25 is. Hasn't found him yet. He's having a good look round. Nope, no signs. So obviously he's pulled back from the cap and he's hiding somewhere in a bush. There he is! Okay, now can you use a bush to get up on that guy? Not from this position. The steer's changing position. Maybe he knows where we are. And that's an Arty round saying, yes, he does know where we are. And he started capping again. Now that could be a big mistake, because it probably would have been better for the steer to go back to his own cap and wait for Bosoron to come to there. And oh, he misses on his first shot, but he doesn't miss with the second one. And now he's trying to evade the Arty shells as they're starting to come in. Okay, so 2 Arty left to go. An SU-122A and the Fifi, the 105 LEP-H18V2, or Leppy as some people know it. Oh, he's been spotted! One of the Arty's in the field, and it's the Fifi. Now, the idea with this one is try and hit the gun shield if you can, but that thing fires so quickly. Ooh, that was close. He got 1 shot in, now he just needs to get onto the side and lock onto the side of this Fifi so he can't shoot at you. And in fact, I think he's almost given up now. That's 1, and this to kill. Yep, got him. So long as he's locked onto the side, that guy couldn't shoot at him. And now it's only 1 tank left, or 1 Arty left. The SU-122A, which doesn't have a very good reload time. Fairly slow, but it's only 152mm howitzer. And well, he doesn't want to get hit by that guy if he can help it, because he could one-shot Bosoron out of the game if he can get 1 hit that penetrates. And the E25 doesn't have particularly strong armor. It's fairly weak actually, 50 at the front, 30 at the sides, 30 at the rear. It relies on its speed and its very low profile to remain unspotted from the enemy. Now, if he goes into the cap, the enemy is going to be somewhere nearby. Where? Oh, he's found him! Now, he hasn't been spotted himself, so he's pulling back. The SU-122 is relying on his concealment, and unfortunately, he's been detected. That's 1. And that wins the game! And that's 13 kills for Bosoron in the E25. What a game! Here's the end of battle stats, and that battle earned Bosoron his first mark of excellence. Congratulations! He also managed to get an ace tanker out of that game. Not surprising really, considering the fact that he managed to get 13 kills. He also managed to pick up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed 14, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. And look at this, 3 epic medals he won during that game. He got a Kolobanov's medal. He stood alone against 5 enemy tanks. In fact, it was 7, and managed to defeat them all by killing them, as well as getting a Pascucci's for killing 2 enemy SPGs, the Fifi and also the SU-122A. And finally, yes, he got a Paul's medal. It seems kind of paltry by comparison. Yep, he got a Paul's kill for killing at least 10 enemy vehicles, but in fact, he killed 13. He was just 1 short of getting a Racine Heroes medal out of that one. Finally, he got a high caliber and a Top Gun for getting the most damage in the game and getting at least 6 kills. Let's have a look at his team score. Well, you won't see many games like this where there's only 2 players on the team, on the winning team, who actually managed to get over 1,000. Bosoron got the highest damage with 5,410. The next highest scorer in the game was the Clipchamp with 2,248, followed by their Fifi with 2,026. So he was a reasonably good Fifi player, but unfortunately he just met an E25 on a very good day. The highest number of kills, obviously Bosoron, 13. The second highest was the Fifi and the KV1, both had 3 kills apiece. And when it came to base XP, look at that, 2,047, well over 2,000, yes. Very, very nice score. The next highest being the Clipchamp on the enemy team with 663, followed by their 105 FH18B2. Shows how good he was that he got the 3rd place on base XP. And the nearest one on his own team was the 45 TP Habitual. I think he went into town and didn't come back out. He only got 561. So, let's have a look at detail. He fired 55 shots in that game. You only get 60 rounds of ammunition, so he spent most of it. Yes, only 5 rounds left at the end. 45 direct hits on the enemy and 43 penetrations. Yes, I think it did help that he had a lot of APCR, but he was getting accurate hits. 1 splash as well. 5,410 hit points of damage, of which 1,028 were at more than 300 meters. He received 5 hits from the enemy, 2 of them penetrated, 3 non-penetrations, and 1 hit by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty. He also blocked damage of 230 hit points. He spotted 3 enemy vehicles, damaged 13, killed 13, and did 28 capture points during the game and 42 defense points by resetting the cap. On a premium count, he earned 78,524 credits for the battle, 58,893 from personal reserves, a grand total of 176,679 credits altogether. And after repair and ammunition resupply, yes, the ammo is expensive because, of course, he did fire a lot of APCR, but he did fire some standard AP rounds as well. He still ended up with a profit of 73,530 credits. 2,047 base and 614 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 3,685 experience points altogether. What a great game that was. Let's have a quick look at the E25 armor. Okay, well, you've got to remember this tank destroyer actually only has an arc of 12 degrees either side, so 24 degrees in total. It's a very narrow arc. You can see that the driver is on one side, the gunner is on the other side, and we've got the cupola in the back for the commander. Okay, the armor is up front is the strongest, 50 millimeters. That's the strongest. Well, I suppose you could say the mantlet as well, but most people would look at the actual armor of the vehicle and say, oh, well, I suppose you actually would say 80 millimeters around the mantlet, but chances of hitting that are very slim. The book highest armor is 50. And that's for the lower plate as well as for the upper plate. But you can see it's actually coming out at only 64 on the upper plate. But the lower plate, because it's better angled, much better angled than the upper plate, actually comes out at 84. The cupola is fairly thin, it's 30 millimeters, but just gives you a slight amount of increase due to angling. And the sides, well, they're sloped, so they're more likely to deflect a shot. But again, it's only 30 millimeters of armor, and with the effective armors coming out at about 35. So it's very thin armor all the way around, and that's one of the reasons why this thing is so quick. It's not carrying a whole lot of weight. It's only 30 tons in total, which is about the weight of a very light medium tank. The roof of the vehicle is actually quite thin, 20 millimeters. So Arty, yes, you can pen this one if you can get a hit directly on the roof of the things. And yes, it's very difficult to do that because they move too quickly. And that's why they got the nickname cockroach, because they scurry around like cockroaches trying to get away from your feet. Anyway, that's the collision model. Let's have a quick look at the live model. Against the 75mm round, yeah, everything's going to go straight through. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have any trouble penetrating this at all in any place. So, yes, good luck angling. It's not going to work. If we have a quick look at the modules and see where everything is, let's get the full screen up. There you go. Okay, well, it's it's very compact inside, and it's all tightly squeezed in. The driver's on the right hand side. You can see the gunner's just sitting directly behind him. There's the gunner's sight there. The tank commander isn't the one in the cupola. I got that wrong there. He's got a sight all of his own, but the one in the little cupola with the machine gun, that's the loader, actually, funnily enough. There's an ammo rack at the front of the vehicle, down low, near the tracks. You're probably not going to penetrate that one, especially with that Shakhtar LOWIQ, the overlapping drive wheels, because they might stop the shell anyway. But you can see that these ammo racks on the side of the vehicle is where the armour is fairly thin, 30mm. So if you always remember that you can hit an E25 on its east side, or rather the right side of the vehicle where the driver is, you might actually contact the ammo rack and set that off. That is where the ready rack is, and you can see there's the loader, and he feeds the shells directly into the 75mm breech. At the back, well, two big fuel tanks either side of the engine, the transmission's behind them. So if you fire into the back of an E25, you're more than likely going to hit the transmission, but if you fire into the side of it, you're either going to hit an ammo rack or a fuel tank. Well, one will give you a fire, but the other one might blow the thing up. And you're more than likely going to penetrate. So try and aim for the body of the tank, not the sides. Try to aim for the top part of the body, avoid the tracks, and see if you can hit a module. You'll more than likely hit a module. They're so compacted in there that something is going to get struck and damaged. So that's why cockroaches tend to move rather quickly so they don't get hit. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. I'm going to be putting it up on both channels. So it's going to be going up without a commentary by me and with the commentary on the What Arty Noobs page, because obviously it was a very good replay and a good example of how somebody can survive 7 tanks against them and manage to end up with a 13 kill win and a Pools medal and of course the Kolobanovs. He certainly excelled himself in this game. Very well done to Bosoron. That's the sort of replay I do like to see. And I'm not sure if it's actually been featured anywhere else, but if it has, well done to whoever saw it. But of course, as you know, I'm going through all of the Pools medals replays one by one, so I'll probably see it eventually. But that was an excellent game. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Please leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.